Welcome to our countdown of the 5 strangest crimes in history. From bizarre wars to elaborate heists, these events will leave you astonished. The vast Australian outback, a landscape of harsh beauty and unforgiving conditions, was the setting for our first extraordinary tale, the Great Emu War of 1932. Picture, if you will, a relentless enemy, 20,000 strong, advancing across the wheat fields of Western Australia. Their objective? Survival. This was no ordinary enemy. This was an army of emus.
These flightless birds, some standing over 6 feet tall, had developed a taste for the farmers' wheat, and their burgeoning numbers posed a significant threat to the livelihood of those who had carved a life out of this arid land. The farmers appealed to the government for assistance, and the response was, shall we say, unexpected.
The government declared war on the emus. Soldiers, armed with Lewis machine guns, were dispatched to engage the enemy in what can only be described as one of the most bizarre military campaigns ever recorded. The emus, however, proved to be a more formidable adversary than anticipated. Agile and surprisingly resilient, they scattered at the first sound of gunfire, making them difficult targets. The war raged for several weeks, with neither side claiming a decisive victory. Our next tale takes us to the heart of 1960s Britain, a time of great social change and, as we shall see, audacious criminal enterprise. The year was 1963, the setting, the seemingly mundane backdrop of a Royal Mail train making its usual journey through the English countryside. Unbeknownst to those on board, a meticulously planned operation was about to unfold, one that would etch its place in criminal history, the Great Train Robbery.
A gang of 15 men, led by the enigmatic Bruce Reynolds, had spent months studying the train's schedule, its security protocols, even manipulating the railway signals to their advantage. Their target, high-value packages, mostly banknotes being transported from Glasgow to London.
In the dead of night, with military precision, the gang stopped the train at a remote location. Overpowering the crew, they then proceeded to unload 128 bags filled with cash, a king's ransom totaling £2.6 million, an astronomical sum at the time, equivalent to approximately £53 million today. The robbers, initially successful in evading capture, were eventually apprehended, their downfall a combination of police work and their own carelessness. Chapter 3. The Banco Central Burglary, an underground operation. Our journey into the extraordinary now takes us to Fortaleza, Brazil, a city known for its sun-drenched beaches and vibrant culture. But beneath the surface of this bustling metropolis, a daring plot was unfolding, one that would demonstrate a remarkable level of planning and audacity. The Banco Central burglary of 2005.
The target, the seemingly impenetrable vault of the Banco Central branch. The perpetrators, a group of ingenious thieves with an audacious plan.
For months, this dedicated team, disguised as landscaping contractors, toiled tirelessly, not in some far-off hideout, but in plain sight, renting a property just a few doors down from the bank. Their cover, a seemingly innocuous business selling artificial grass. Beneath the facade of normalcy, however, a subterranean operation was underway.
The team was painstakingly tunneling their way towards the bank's vault, using shovels, pickaxes, and even a homemade air conditioning system to combat the stifling heat and dust. They carved a 256-foot-long tunnel, complete with lighting and support beams. Their efforts culminated in a weekend-long heist, during which they successfully breached the bank's vault, making off with an estimated $70 million in Brazilian real.
Chapter 4. The Antwerp Diamond Heist, a gem of a crime. Our exploration of the strange and audacious now leads us to Antwerp, Belgium, the world-renowned diamond capital. Here, amidst the glittering showcases and bustling diamond exchanges, a meticulously planned heist, often dubbed the heist of the century, would unfold, the Antwerp Diamond Heist of 2003.
The target, the Antwerp Diamond Centre, a seemingly impregnable fortress safeguarding a king's ransom in precious stones. The perpetrators, a team of seasoned criminals led by Leonardo Notarbartolo, a man described as possessing a genius-level intellect and a penchant for meticulous planning.
Multiple layers of protection stood between them and their prize infrared heat detectors, a magnetic field, seismic sensors, and a vault secured by a lock with over 100 million possible combinations. Undeterred, Notarbartolo and his team spent months studying the Diamond Center's security protocols, exploiting every weakness, every blind spot.
They used forged documents to gain access, disabled surveillance systems, and even employed a dance studio above the vault to mask the sounds of their operation. Their efforts culminated in a daring weekend heist, during which they successfully infiltrated the Diamond Center, gaining access to the vault and making off with an estimated $100 million in diamonds, gold, and other precious jewels. Despite their meticulous planning, the perpetrators were eventually apprehended. Their downfall, a combination of DNA evidence and their own desire to enjoy the fruits of their ill-gotten gains.
Chapter 5. The Great Boston Molasses Flood, a Sticky Situation. Our final tale takes us to the bustling city of Boston in 1919, where a peculiar disaster, both tragic and bizarre, unfolded: the Great Boston Molasses Flood. While not a crime in the traditional sense, the events of that fateful day highlight the devastating consequences of negligence and the importance of accountability.
Imagine, if you will, a towering tank, 50 feet tall and containing 2.5 million gallons of molasses, a thick, viscous byproduct of sugar refining. This imposing structure, owned by the United States Industrial Alcohol Company, stood precariously close to the bustling streets of Boston's North End neighborhood. On January 15, 1919, under a deceptively clear sky, this behemoth of a tank, weakened by shoddy construction and inadequate maintenance, buckled under the immense pressure of its contents.
The result was catastrophic. A wave of molasses, estimated at 25 feet high and traveling at 35 miles per hour, surged through the streets, engulfing everything in its path. Buildings were ripped from their foundations, a fire station was partially destroyed, and the elevated train tracks were twisted into grotesque shapes.
The human cost was significant. 21 people lost their lives, drowned or crushed beneath the relentless surge of molasses. Over 150 more were injured, many with horrific injuries from the sticky, suffocating deluge. The Great Boston Molasses Flood, while not a deliberate act of malice, stands as a stark reminder of the importance of accountability and the devastating consequences of negligence.
Chapter 6. Stranger Than Fiction. Lessons from the Unexpected. These strange crimes remind us that truth can indeed be stranger than fiction. From the sun-scorched Australian outback to the bustling streets of Boston, we've journeyed through time, exploring the bizarre, the audacious, and the downright unbelievable. Each of these tales offers a glimpse into the complexities of human nature, our capacity for both ingenuity and folly. The Great Train Robbery and the Banco Central burglary, testaments to meticulous planning and daring execution, remind us that even the most sophisticated security measures are vulnerable to human cunning. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing content.